what you have to understand is customers cost you money to get. From the point you're turning on your lights, to if you're still advertising in yellow pages, to that, online pay-per-click advertising, SEO, whatever it is you're doing, customers actually cost you money to acquire. A lot of shops, or a lot of people I speak to in this industry don't necessarily consider it a cost. They don't realize that there's money to acquiring a customer, and if you're able to actually pinpoint exactly what it costs you, it's a good thing, because then there's a lifetime value of a customer that you're able to associate with. But basic knowledge costs you something to get a customer. So are you doing everything possible, to ensure that they come back once they've found you? It's great. We did transactions, stupendous, but you're going to deliver the flowers, and you're going to, a lot of times, and my colleague always calls the hope market. Really, you're going to cross your fingers and hope that they call you back at some point in time. Now, did you do everything possible to increase that likelihood? So you got to ask yourself, okay, well, what is it that I could have done, or what do I need to do to make that happen? And for every shop, it's a little different, but you need to start asking yourselves these questions. Are you tossing your fishing rod in the bush? Now, what I'm talking about with the whole fishing thing is really you're going out and buying a customer, and then you're basically tossing it into the bush when you put that piece of paper into a box, or shoebox, or into a database that it's just going to sit there and rot and do nothing for you. You can't keep going back buying the same customers. Be it on pay-per-click online, and that's probably the easiest way to understand the concept. You're going to be paying each time somebody's going to click on your ad, and you have to pay for that same person to come back to your website. Well, how can you bypass that and just get them to come back to you directly? So there's a couple of things we can talk about in that way. And the other thing is, if you don't do that, if you keep your fishing rod and you keep throwing the fishing rod into the pond, and you stick it in the ground, and you go buy another fishing rod, and you stick it into the ground, you go buy another fishing rod, and you stick it into the ground. Now you've got 3 fishing rods in the pond, and you're going to be able to catch 3 fish as opposed to just the one at a time. So now you've got more rods, you're going to catch more fish, and you're going to stop throwing away those rods. The expectation economy is an interesting concept that I'd like to look at. So one thing that they talk about is needing to look outside of your industry, because people are trained. Like I said, I've been trained by tons of different businesses on how to do business. Things like FedEx, hotels, pizza, telecommunications. Those kinds of businesses or business entities or categories have changed the way they do business. They've had to change the way they do business. So you think about FedEx. Well, what did FedEx bring to the table that is now ubiquitous with delivery? Delivery confirmation. Hotels. When I dealt with the hotel back in the day, whatever. You paid cash. I remember those days, you paid cash, put a credit card for whatever, paid cash. You get a receipt, you call it a day. Now, I don't need to do that. I can just automatically check out. I can call them back if I lost my invoice. They can send me an invoice. I can do the hotel online. I can do a hotel right from an application. So the way they're doing business is different. Pizza, same thing. You crying out loud, you call a pizza joint these days. Big name pizza joint. They've centralized almost all of their calls now. It goes into one location. Professional salespeople take the call, and then send out the order digitally to another shop that's going to take the order for them. Nobody needs to touch a phone in some of these locations anymore, because everything can be digitized. And again, my life can be made easier. Their life can be made easier with information. And then telecommunications, again, it's the same thing. Visa, Shaw, Rogers, whatever. Give me some information, and almost all of our conversation can be dealt with, because you've got notes, you've got all kinds of stuff related to our history. So how do you exceed customers' expectations? Now, customer service. So when I talk to a lot of flower shops, I ask them, and this is, again, coming from the consumer's perspective. So, no offense should be taken here at all, but you have to put yourself in the consumer's shoes sometimes. Why would I buy flowers from a flower shop over Supercenters, Safeways, Costco's, whatever? I hear invariably 2 answers. 2, customer service, best customer service. And our product is superior. Our designs are wonderful. Okay. So the first one, the design is wonderful, the product, and so on and so forth. Well, we all know that the flowers are pretty well grown in the same fields. They're all shipped in, and obviously your caring for them is substantially better for the most part than any other vendors out there. That is what it is. But consumer, again, perception, same flowers. Flowers are a commodity. I can buy them anywhere. Customer service side. Okay, well, let's look at the customer service. Well, from the consumer's perspective, there definitely are a lot of categories that fit into customer service, and you need to put yourself in those shoes. So perception versus reality. What do you perceive to be good customer service? And what is the reality of good customer service to the vendor, to the customer? You need to understand who your real competition is. So yeah, if I ask shops, who's your competition? And they'll name flower shops. That's great, because they are competition. But you gotta think, you know what, we were talking about this, the online world, that's not just your competition anymore. I can order steaks from Omaha, I can order lobster from Halifax. I can order chocolates from Purdy's, you know, I can order whatever I want online and have it delivered. So you're competing against a $20 billion plus gift giving industry now for the same dollar. And so that's not, you know, flower shops just aren't your competition. Really, your competition is anybody and everybody that can deliver something these days and say what they're trying to say. So what are they doing? Well, delivery confirmation. How does that fit into play? Well, that perception versus reality. I read a study not too long ago in another magazine that the reality is, when you ask customers what they're really looking for from a flower shop, why would you use a flower shop? The number one thing, I mean, does anybody know what the number one thing they're looking for? Did my flowers actually get there? Did nothing about design? The top three things that they had, nothing about design, nothing about quality. They all had to do with, can I get my flowers, can I, you know, am I certain that they're going to be delivered on time? That was the number one thing that they're interested in by a long shot. So, you know, again, this is perception versus reality stuff that we need to consider. They want to be able to communicate with you via email or on the phone. They want to communicate with you how they want to communicate with you. And it should be easy to do that. I shouldn't have to have questions back and forth because, again, I expect that you have this stuff on file somewhere, easily accessible, that you can, you know, address my concerns and not get back to me at the end of the day. Because in this BlackBerry and iPhone world, I'm sorry, I know you can communicate with me ASAP, and I'm looking for my answer when I want my answer. I mean, you've all dealt with this. I mean, they want access. They want you to have access to their information easily, and they want to have access to it whenever they want it, not when you can get back to them. They want a quick shopping experience. Customers don't want to wait in line. They just don't want to wait on the phone. I don't want to have to call you the second time and go through the whole rigmarole again. Where do you live? What's your address? What's your phone number? What's your credit card? What's your mom's address? Like, man, that sucks. You know, going through this all again. Hey, I just ordered from you, you know, not too long ago. I mean, that happened to me. You want to get your customers to buy again from you, because that's at the end of the day how you really perform good business. Because we were talking about acquisition cost of a customer. If a customer costs them $10 to get them in the first place, and they've only ordered, I don't know, let's just say I profited $5 on that customer on the sale, because whatever, they ordered $25. Well, I'm $5 in the hole. I have to get that customer to buy from me once more to take me to that $10 to at least break even on. And then once they buy more, and that's great, then that customer's actually earning me money. And then they've got a lifetime, right? They could be my customer for 3 years. They only buy once a year, make $5 each time they buy from me. Okay, well, I'm gonna make $15 on $10 acquisition cost. This isn't math that every shop is going to do, but these are the concepts, these are the real concepts there. You're not going to make as much money on each customer as it costs you to get them. So you want to get them to buy again. You need to stay in front of these people, really. And if you are out of sight, you are out of mind. They're getting noise from everywhere. I mean, if I typed in flowers Fort St. John, you know, great, we got however many flower shops in Fort St. John. We got, you know, a lot of people advertising for Fort St. John. So there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise. So if you're able to stay in front of somebody by communicating with them on a consistent basis, be it through Facebook updates, all that type of stuff, again, you're going to hear all about emails, direct mail, whatever it may be, you're at least in front of somebody, because if you're not, somebody else is. That's the reality. You can think about selling a little bit more to just 20% of your clientele, and they're responsible for 80% of your revenue. Just sell each one of those people once more. Just once more. What's going to happen to your numbers? You know, if you do a nice little analysis, you could be surprised with what's potential. Increasing your revenue, selling higher tickets to the same people. If you don't have that information at hand either, you have no idea what an average ticket price is. I mean, you may or may not have experience with staff members or whomever underselling an item. Clients call you because they trust you. You deal with my wife, you do her flowers every year. Let's just say by chance one year, Mr. Smith, who's a great client and you know him well, his call was answered by Susie, who's new. And Susie, you know, listening to Mr. Smith, she's like, yeah, no, it's my wife's birthday again this year. I want to order something lovely. Oh, well, we could do something nice for $60. Okay. You know, he says, okay, that's great. Meanwhile, you know Mr. Smith generally spends like $120. But she's going to get something nice for $60 this time. Isn't that swell? No data was at hand, so Susie made a mistake. She left a lot of money on the table, and guess what's going to happen when Mrs. Smith gets those flowers? She'll go, holy crap, these are you got ripped off, buddy. Like, it was way nicer last year. You know what's going on, huh? So you need to make sure that you're selling higher tickets to the same people. You want to increase your revenue yet again? Well, if your average ticket price is $50, and I know that it's $50, how about I sell you $55 this time? Or try and upsell you a little bit more, So it's a nice way to, you know, increase that revenue as well.